Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 27 of Speed Talk. We're pretty excited about this one. Probably one of the most likable guys in southern, uh, the southern United States. In any racetrack you go to, he is your head flagman for the Heartland Modified Tour. Longtime racer, longtime friend of ours, Mike Striegel, the Wheatland Outlaw. Mike, welcome to the podcast, man. Thanks for joining us.
Man, I appreciate you guys getting a hold of me and having me on. You guys are doing a great job with this and get some names out there and you get to learn about something. You see guys at the racetrack, but you never get to hear about other stuff that they do. So it's pretty cool.
Absolutely. So, Mike, I guess first off, we're just gonna get right into it, like you said. Doing some flagging for the Heartland Mod Tour. Just take us through a little bit about how you got tied in with that deal.
Well, I'd been flagging at Lucas Oil Speedway, and when I'd quit that job, Trenton Berry called me within 24 hours. When I guess you could call me a free agent, what I always tell somebody, I'm like, damn, I was a free agent, dude. I'm a wanted flagman, but Trenton Berry got a hold of me and asked me if I was interested in doing it, and I thought, and their schedule worked. It wasn't every week, so it worked out for me that I didn't have to be busy every weekend. I could actually race my car. We had time off and stuff. So it's really been a great fit for me so I can race more, instead of being tied down every week.
So now
Have you
you're
been? So how many tracks have you guys been to this year so far, Mike? Is there any new tracks that you haven't been to that you've gotten to flag at, or for the
I
most
bet,
part, you're pretty good?
it's kind of weird. Very few tracks. Um, I've been to about all of them we've been to, but never flagged at hardly any of them. So it was kind of odd to see it from a different point of view, But I have not got to flag at Tri-State. Of course, Tri-State, is one of my favorite tracks down in Oklahoma. But I got to flag at Arrowhead. That's a cool place. I've raced there and there, but Nevada Speedway. I mean, a lot of people's heard Nevada. That's where I grew up watching races as a young kid, and flagging there for the first time after all these years. That was pretty cool. That's probably my coolest one. That was a few weeks ago.
I saw it. No, so this Heartland deal, like you said, you guys aren't running. Is that an every other week type deal? I mean, they running 20, 30 shows a year. I mean, what's kind of that schedule like?
No, it was a little over 20 nights, I think, is what it ended up being. But you may run back to back weekends, and then you may have 3 weeks off
Sure.
at times. It's kind of the same situation as the Northern Lights, which is a new series up there by you guys. And Trenton started that and Stick and trying it up that way. And I think it's going well up there too, but it's not every week up there. So like, you guys can race that when it comes to town or close by, or you can go race your weekly races at MTS like you do weekly or Deer Creek and all that stuff, which is cool places. I've missed coming up there, dude. I'd like to we need to have a Heartland um, showdown up there with them northern cats with the Northern Lights.
Yeah,
We need to get Trenton to have us a end of the year clash. Who's the fastest, the northern guys or the guys down here? It'd be fun.
that'd be kind of a cool way to end the point series for both
Yeah,
series.
yeah,
Have the Northern Lights finale end that weekend, but also the Heartland. It could be like a clash between the
100%.
two series. That'd be kind of neat. Never thought of that, but
Yeah, I hadn't either. I just thought of it while we were talking about it. Like USRA, we all race at all these USRA tracks, and then everybody meets, I'm lucky enough here now to have it in Wheatland, but everybody meets and hashes it out, in the same track. So um, I know that's a disadvantage for some. I mean, all you guys want us to come up there, all of us want you guys to
right?
come down
Yep.
because it kind of works both ways. Every time I race up there, I suck, and then when you guys come down here, you're not as fast. So I kind of rather you guys come down here than me go up there.
Yeah.
Sure. So now,
So
Mike, oh,
in
go ahead,
between
buddy.
flagging and still getting to race a little bit, what's your season behind the wheel look like so far? I've
Man,
been trying to keep tabs on you as much as I can, but
yeah, I haven't got to race. I've only actually raced 6 nights this year is all I've got to race. So my racing schedule's really been slower because of that. And just mainly if we're off a weekend, my wife wants to go camping or which we've only camped once too, I think this summer too. So I'm not real damn sure what I've done with all my time off, but I haven't really raced as much as I I usually have won 2 races and only raced 6 times. So I mean,
It's pretty good
It's
winning
a pretty good
percentage.
percentage.
my average is pretty good. But
Yeah.
I like to race obviously I like when it's nice out, like up there by you guys right now. It would be perfect. It's a good time to come race up north. I think it's not freezing cold yet, and I like it when it's good weather. And this time of year, I get fired up about racing. So I'm gonna hit a few races here. I was gonna come up. I think it was to Mason City. Maybe did they have a makeup feature or something up there a few weeks ago? Was that
They did a
Mason?
couple weeks ago. Yeah, they did double points, I think.
Double point
And they did
feature.
like an invert deal.
Yeah, and we were off, and I was going to come up there, and it just didn't work out. My business, I have a plumbing business, and it's just been on fire, and I'm blessed with that. I've been busy in the old plumbing truck running crap downhill.
That's one thing.
So that's good.
Funeral homes, plumbers, and electricians, you got to keep the lights on, you got to keep the shitters flowing, and people are always dying. So three things you can almost guarantee you're always going
Uh,
to stay in business.
That's no shit.
But
No doubt about that.
so now, Mike, you're being my deal. What are you racing nowadays? Man? What kind of car you got? What are you driving?
I have a J2 chassis. What I got this
Okay,
year, I bought Bobby Williams'
sure.
car. He raced at Lucas Oil Speedway, so it's a well-known car, and I knew it was fast, and it's last year's car, and it's been good to me. It's so easy. It makes an old man look fast like me still, so I can still win races, and I'm confident in it. No matter, I was going to go down there for that 30,000 to win at Arrowhead, and now next weekend. No, it's not next week. When is that deal coming up? 5,000 when they've changed it. So I might go down there to that, and I think I've got a shot at it just as well as anybody else down there with the equipment. And yeah. Earlier before we got on, we was talking about Stoa, and I bought a car, and it had his motor in it, and I had his motor in my A mod, and Kevin is just freaking top notch dude. I mean, I think me and him got to be buddies when he was down here a couple of years ago at the Nationals and tore the whole side of his race car off his A mod, and he pushed it across the street because my shop's close, and
Yep.
I helped him rebuild it, and we got it all put back together so he could finish the week, and we just clicked after that. But man, even I didn't buy a motor. It's kind of ironic. I've never bought a motor from him yet, but I've had two of his engines. But the guy, like, if it's his motor, it doesn't matter if you bought it from him or what. He's really taking care of me. So the motor in it and with the chassis combination, it's just perfect fit for me.
I have to compliment Kevin because like I said, we ran different stuff up until this year and we really changed our engine program up and he built us a very reliable piece that runs smooth and it doesn't make the most power. It's not the most torquey engine out there, but it just runs smooth. It's so easy to drive. And the one thing I like about Kevin is like if it comes to maintenance, how many laps you should be running before something simple as changing oil or changing spark plugs or just saying, hey, check your valve latch, X amount of ice. He's like on top of it and keeps you on your toes with that stuff. But he also, it seems like he keeps tab on every single one of his drivers that has one of his engines in the car. Like he called me on our way to Mason City last week or 2 weeks ago. He called me, congratulated me on my win at Deer Creek, and
Yeah,
we sat and talked for 15 minutes, talked about his kids and how they were going fishing, and then got talking about muskie fishing and like just got off a
sure.
tangent outside of racing. But hell of a stand-up class act guy when it comes to, just racing, but also when it comes to building an engine. I mean, you talk about like a true engineer when putting a piece like that together. I mean,
Sure.
he's extremely top notch.
Yeah, I'm real. I'd like to go up and see his. If I have a race up that way, I'd like to stop and see his shop. I'm sure you could probably eat dinner on about any place in his shop. I'm sure. I haven't been there, but I can imagine his shop's very clean and put together the way he acts. So, and it shows. And I have a great motor builder here as well. It's helped me for years at Eagle Machine, and I mean I've used them for 20 years, and nothing against them at all because they can build good power too. But it's not nothing because I'd put their. That's what uh, J2 now sold. Kevin Morrow over in Nevada, Missouri, bought it. And John Sheets, of course, you might have heard of that slow guy.
Hmm.
he's been winning about all the B mod races when he won the Lucas Oil Championship over here, and he runs an Eagle machine. So I mean, them and Kevin are definitely two of the best people in motor business I've ever been
Mhm.
around. Sure,
Yeah, it definitely helps having good, solid, reliable power each
sure,
night. And not saying something can't happen that's unexpected, but for the most part, you just trust what's in your car, and you know the
sure,
thing's gonna hold together and run solid every night. So yeah, it's definitely a huge like weight lifted off your shoulders
sure.
most nights.
Yeah, and it's the same way as you people go, man. Does that thing run good? And man, that thing, it's hard to explain it. Like you said, no, it's not no top fuel dragster motor at all, but it just freaking won't. I think you could drive from here to where you live and it never quit moving.
Yeah.
It's just weird the way the power is. It's
Yep.
not. They said, man, is it good bottom top? I'm like, dude, you just keep giving it gas. It just don't quit. So
Keeps
yeah,
going. Yep.
it does. It's not a real. I've had motors with more power. I'm not gonna lie. I've had, but not that the drivability of his motors are just second to none for sure.
Absolutely. So do you got any plans to come up north? I know you mentioned Mason City. Would you consider the fall jamboree if the schedule allowed, or
Dude,
what's your thoughts on something like
I
that?
haven't been up there in a while. That's
Oh,
whenever I
Come
really
on
got to
up.
we're
bring
due
where
for a
I,
good campfire with some bullshit.
Speed
yeah,
crown.
yeah. And now I'm on E85, so I'll have something to burn in a barrel like you guys all do. A lot of you guys do up there. So
Yep.
always thought that I don't know about the jamboree, what we got going. I haven't looked that far. When is that? What's
About
the
three
date?
weeks,
Last
4 weeks.
weekend and yeah, last weekend in
Man, that is a super fun. That's a great track too. I like of all the northern tracks. That's probably one of my favorites. Mississippi's. I'd like to come there now that the wall's on. Everybody said that's a whole different joint now that the wall's all the way around 1 and 2. Now, do you think is it different? Do you
Oh
it
think
yeah.
feels like a
different?
totally different speedway. I mean, you
Is
come on
it?
the track in turn four now, and you stage it so you can watch the races beforehand. Watch your heat ahead of you, and
Yeah,
I don't know. They repainted the walls blue and white and then put a catch fence up all the way, a really nice fence. To me, and then they got these nice wheeling lights. And to me, when you pull on, it feels like a totally different speedway. I mean,
Hmm.
sure.
it races the same, don't get me wrong, but you don't have that opening going into one anymore. So you can really lean on the top going into one and not have to worry about that right rear getting sucked up for that split
Right.
second and then clobbing the track entrance. So they've made a
Yeah.
lot of really, really nice improvements there, not only to the track, but the facility as well. So
Sure. Sure.
it's
I would.
definitely worth the trip. I know it's a
Yeah.
haul for you guys,
I
but
know.
yeah,
If I
it's
could come
definitely.
up there and race that and Deer Creek together, or something, that would be. I really wanted to come to that Casey race. I've been wanting to get back up there and do that deal, and it just we were racing the Heartland deal. I couldn't come up for that, but I miss all you guys up there. You guys are a bunch of cool guys up there. It's a different atmosphere up there down here. I mean, we got some nice people around here, but all you northern guys are just pretty cool usually. Most of you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. That's how yeah, I feel about you guys when we come down there. We
Right.
that last time we were at the Nationals, I think it was 21. You had, I don't know, we walked over from the Speedway, drove the four wheeler over, and you guys had a shop full of people, and I think there was some
Yeah.
race time. We
I
sat and
remember
bullshit.
that.
We were
Yeah.
watching Hot Carl on the
Hot Carl,
TV.
that's what it was on
That's
YouTube.
what
We're
it
watching
was.
Hot
Yeah.
Carl. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, that was back in the day. That was a good time. Are you all coming down this year for it, or you don't come to the new SRA deal?
I don't think I will. I don't have any plans of going. It's just tough to, you only have so many 3, 4 day weekends where you can get off work, and
Right.
I mean it costs money. I mean, not saying we couldn't do it, but it's just like kind of getting to the point in life where you kind of got to pick and choose at some stuff, and trying to do other things with my
Sure.
fiance and just family things, and it gets harder to do every year. It seems like a little bit, unfortunately.
How about old Dad? I've seen him race a couple of times
Mike,
this year on racing dirt up there in Mississippi. I'm like, that old man can still get after it a little bit.
Dad just won his first track title, Mike, in 30
Oh,
years.
did he win he
Oh
did
yeah.
he?
Yeah,
No shit.
He
he
won.
won the Eco Mod Track
They
Championship.
raced they
Yeah,
raced 6 features this year, and Dad won 4 of them. Um, man, he Mike, he
that
it
that's
is it is one
sweet.
of the coolest things getting to see my dad race now, as far as just I mean, that EcoMod deal they're doing at Fountain City and Decorah. So I don't know if you've ever looked into it, but they got to be 5 years old or older. They all run an AFCO, I think it's an 81 series shock, a cheap shock. Everyone has to run on a 514 gear. They all run restrictor plates.
Okay.
They turn about 56 to 6,000 RPM at the most.
Nice.
It's just
Crate motors or not a crate
crate
motor?
motor. They have an LS option.
Okay.
Open motor. My dad's got an open motor.
Concept, you can run a concept.
You take your B mod motor and you throw a restrictor plate on it. You run it with a 4 barrel, a 2 barrel, whatever your engine package.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
and it's a
It's
great
honestly
deal.
pretty competitive
Yeah,
and fun to watch. They get anywhere from like 18 to 20 on a given night. And they're also, even with the gear and the limited power, it produces some pretty good
Yeah.
racing.
You can't get
Um,
away from each other. That's kind of what our B mods were when we started them. Whenever
correct.
we first started B mods, we was on a cheap, non-rebuildable. I mean, I can remember when it was way more or less money to run than it is today. But like you said, it just costs so much. But man, it has been cool watching the old man though. I
Oh yeah.
watched him here a while back. It was on Racing Dirt. And I'm like, damn, look at him go, boy.
Oh yeah. He's
just
having
like just a big, if you know my dad, he's just a big kid and
Yeah,
he's
he
got a
is.
big heart and he wants that class to grow. And it's, I don't know, it's a little bit disappointing to see what some of the what used to be an affordable class like the B mods gets
Sure.
so out of hand on costs. And I think that eco mod class needs to grow because I mean, look at the used car market out there right now for used race cars. There's
Yeah,
so many cars that you can go and buy for 4,500 bucks to 6 grand. Find
sure.
another, right? You can be into that class for less than 10,000 bucks and go
Right.
and have fun. But like he said to the tech guys, we talked to Todd Staley at Mason City last week. They
Mm,
have to keep like because we're trying to like if Todd would pick it up and run some nights at Mason City or maybe Deer Creek
sure.
every now and then if they're whatever they choose to do next year. If they
Right.
gave these drivers the options to go to these other tracks, I think he would see it grow more. But it truly could be a 5,500 to a $10,000 class at max. Patrol it on the shocks. Make sure guys are, running, I guess you could run. I think you can run new tires, can't you, Jack? Or they
No,
got to
he got they have a tread depth rule. They're supposed to, if they've ever checked it on, but can't run new tires.
Okay.
It's just it's a great the whole thing with it is they need to just like the B mods, B mods used to be that way, like you said.
Sure.
Then we started allowing stuff. You know what? It's a little bit
That's right.
here. They allow
Yeah.
the guys to start spending money. They can't let that happen with this eco mod deal. They got to keep it cheap
I
because
understand.
then you're just gonna if you start pretty soon, I don't know what it would be. They start allowing a gas shock or you know how it is, and then it's just like it
Oh
just
yeah,
it
sure.
just it
a
just
rebuildable
snowballs.
shock, or you take
Yeah.
the should put off, or they don't have a gear rule. Now guys are putting better engines in and turning more gear to them, and then it just spreads the field out, and
What makes it different? What do they pay them? They probably don't pay them a whole lot.
150 bucks.
150 bucks.
Yeah, that's the way that's the problem. Another deal with B mods. I mean, you can go to a B mod race for though that one there at 30,000 to win B mod. Who'd ever thought you could win 30 grand in a B mod? And then these and A mods are racing for 100.
Right.
Mhm.
And
So
yeah,
that's brought the price up. So that if they keep that class cheap, the pay cheap, they just have a good time. And Jerry Hoffman started a class around here. It was Midwest Mods, which you could take a Midwest mod. It was just exactly what you're talking about. It had a certain spec motor, shocks, paid nothing, and it worked. He had so many that he had to actually make an A and a B
yeah,
class. And I
Wow.
think that'll happen up there with you guys eventually. So the little bit more experienced guys run the A, and if you're brand
sure.
new, you run the B because you get them together, then you have a damn tornado most
Yeah.
nights.
Well, that we were kind of dealing with that a little bit with Dad the last couple of
Yeah,
years because people were starting to complain a little bit that my dad was, my dad's raced for 30 years and he knows,
sure.
he's got knowledge. He can see, when the racetrack's starting to change and some of the stuff that these newer guys can't, and that's not his fault. It's not they almost make it sound like it's a beginner's class and it's not. It's an economy class. It's just it's
Uh,
a, it's a
it
cheap
doesn't have an
class.
A. no age limit or nothing
No,
like that.
it's
I
just a
see.
way for guys to, be able to race and not spend 30, $40,000, and that's kind of how and what's I don't want to say what's kind of frustrating about it, but that's like you said, that's what the B mod class was supposed to be, and it just
And
got so out of hand, unfortunately.
this Midwest mod class and Jerry Hoffman down there started, like I said, and had a really good ring on it. And then the other tracks got it, and then Power I implemented it. And you know how things happen. Now there's, I mean, brand new chassis,
Yep.
brand new everything, and then the price of them just went crazy. They're
Mhm.
still, it just, that's what happens. So if they keep that where, you actually have to run an older car and stuff, and you don't see somebody buying a new car and sandblasting it, making it look 10 years old.
Yeah.
I think it's
Racers
awesome
won't cheat.
because like my dad's car, Mike, it's a 2004, 2005 Skyrocket. It's been bent every which way.
Sure.
The X has been ripped out of it. Dad's welded the X back. I mean,
Hmm.
it's a probably a $1,500 car, honestly. I mean, it's old
Sure.
and it's like Dad's not gonna go and race with these new J2 cars and the B mods with the stall motors and be competitive. That's just not realistic.
No.
And he can take this old car and it still, serves a purpose for this race car because as soon as if there weren't this eco mod class, he ain't gonna sell that to anybody to go run a US or a B mod, and nobody's gonna buy that to run B mod. So it's just gonna, go to the
No.
scrap pile. So it's like at least they're getting some use out of these older cars.
Yeah, and I think you could get one of them. I mean, I think I would like to see somebody have one of them, and I think if you knew how to do it and you had the right stuff on them, I think you could still win with a car like your dad has. I mean, I've seen racers around here that have, and I don't want to call it junk, but I'm like,
Right.
I used to put bodies on cars, okay, and I just still do up here at my house, at my shop, and there's guys that win 15 races they used to win, and I'm not going to call them out by name, but they're really talented racers now, and they come bring it. I'm like, is this the shit you're racing? I mean, you won like 15 races. Yeah, that's it. And I'm like, holy hell. I mean, it can be done, but I think that day is past now, unfortunately,
Yeah, but
for the A mod and B mods and all of it.
yeah.
So,
It's
Mike,
just
I
like a cat
wanna
and mouse. Yeah. Or keep going, Jack.
No, I just want to say, Mike, I kind of want to steer a little bit away from racing. I kind of want to go back a few years to, when we met. I'm just trying to think when we met you and Mama D and Tanner and all you guys down there. Just take us through for people that might not know you, let people know about, Mama D, your awesome wife, about the coolest damn lady at the racetrack. Your son Tanner, and he does some racing, and just a little bit about your family life.
well, it was all about racing, obviously, for a long time. We started when my wife and I met. I was racing, and I've always raced since she's known me. And that's kind of, how and you boys are in the boat, everybody's race. But um, whenever you move from one town and move to another, I lived down in Branson when I raced down there. And actually, when I started racing, I didn't start racing till I was 30, which a
Okay.
lot of people don't know that. But when I bought my first, well, I raced some mechanics races and stuff. But when I bought my first car, which was a modified, an old Harris copy from up north, had a 355 engine in it. I'm on out on methanol, and I raced at Monette, and that's how when I started racing, and I was 30 when and back to what you're talking about, it was an A mod, legitimate A mod, and I give 5,500
Yeah.
bucks for it, turnkey, dude, all
Yeah.
of it,
Wow.
motor, everything, and 355 had plenty of motor, and I raced crap out of it over at Monette every Sunday. They raced on Sunday nights, and I owned a plumbing business then. I've owned it the whole time. Me and my wife have been together as well. So, um, and then all the kids have got into it. Tanner more than the others, but McKendall got into it, and my son Dalton, he could take it or leave it. So he was the smartest one. He saved a lot more than
Yeah.
what
Good
I
for
have,
him.
but he does other things. He works for O'Reilly and's really and doing really well at O'Reilly in Springfield now. But no, it's just day to day racing. I mean, I don't want to say well, yeah, it has slowed down for me, but and when I picked up this flagging deal, I really, really enjoy flagging races as well because I still get to go around and see people and race cane with people. And then whenever I moved up here, Dan Robinson was the promoter at Lucas Oil Speedway. And me and him are very, very good friends. And he gave me the flag. I just stopped him one night and I'm like, "You need a flagman over here?" The flagman was quitting and it just went from there. And um, I started flagging over there weekly. And when I started flagging, Dwayne Johnson, which is he flagged for Monette Speedway and MLRA for years for Ken Essery. And that's where I started flagging also, which was odd. I first started racing at Monette and I started flagging at Monette. But I was racing and flagging at the same time at that point. But it was Dwayne Johnson was quitting, so they needed somebody to fit. So I shadowed him for a couple of weeks, and that was about into that. He goes, "There you go." I'm like, "Oh shit, okay, I got it. No problem." And flagged every Sunday night there for that was back in '92 probably when I started flagging down there probably something, and then MLRA come from that, and then Ken Essery and Randy Mooningham owned MLRA, the Late Model Racing Association, and they owned Monette Speedway too at the time. So I went from racing and flagging at Monette. Well, I didn't race and flag the same night, but and then I went to on tour with MLRA and traveling, and that's when I got to get out and see the racing world and start like for me, which sounds odd. A lot of people, it's not the race to me. It's still not the race to me today, even all the wins I've had and it's just the camaraderie of the people. And, some days I can't tell you who won the race, but I can tell you something funny you did or
Yeah.
something you slide job that day when I started calling you slide job, you come in all white. That's the stuff for me that makes racing what it is. I mean, yeah, we all want to be successful and do good in racing, but the friendships and the families we all created, and like right now, I mean, I met you guys. We never he wasn't even racing against each other, I don't think,
No.
down here when you come down here. So I think was I flagging when you guys come down here?
God, Mike, when we met you, I
I
mean,
don't
that
think
was back in 2015,
It was
right, Parker? Because we
2015.
came down on just we went to
you were
Lakeside,
traveling.
got
Yeah,
rained out,
yeah,
and
I wasn't flagging here yet.
no,
No.
but we went to Lakeside and we got rained out. It was when we were it was when we were with loaded up with Jake Tim. Do you remember that
Yep.
park?
Yep,
And we
Yep.
came down here Saturday. We
that,
got rained out Friday at Lakeside,
that's
and
right.
we came down here Saturday, and yeah, I think that would have been when we met you guys, I think.
Yeah, you guys
I
were
honestly
sleeping.
think, yeah, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Racy might have been running around the pits or something, and one of
Oh
us
yeah.
dog and sparked the conversation. I don't know what it was, and then you mentioned how you lived right across the road and
Yep.
got,
Yeah, then we just,
yeah,
I just,
yeah, kind of,
and you were sleeping in your trailer or something,
Oh
I
yeah.
think,
yeah,
No,
or
yeah.
well,
something.
not in that trip. We would have been not
You were
that
The
there,
year
trip.
but
after
you,
we went down
it
and
might have
stayed
been
in
the
the trailer.
Nationals one year you come down, like, where you
Yep.
guys staying in your trailer? Mama D goes, them boys ain't staying in that damn trailer. Get them over here. No, no, your dad said you go sleep right there in that damn
Oh,
trailer.
Yep. No,
But,
I
but
just
that's the most important thing for me and that's why I enjoy this Heartland deal now, and it slowed me down from driving. And not that I don't have the desire to drive and be competitive when I do race, but if I don't get to race anymore, it's not a big of a deal. I mean, your dad would probably kind of have an idea with that, like, he can race or not race, but as long as he gets to see you guys race and his friends and family race, that's good enough. So it's getting to that point with me, but not yet. I got some more time yet. I'd like to do some more racing for sure, but
that's
um,
the that's kind of the hard part about, as we get older, Mike, Parker obviously just had a kid in February and we're getting to
sure.
a different part in our life where, there's starting to be other things other than, just racing on the weekends. And that's the one thing I mean, I'm sure you know how it is. It's something we've done as a family our whole lives, and it's hard to think about maybe a day when there's not as much of that week to week stuff like you said for my dad. He don't really care if he races or not, but it's something he gets to do with his kids
Yeah.
and something he does with his wife, and it's something we do, consistently every weekend together. And not a lot of families are able to do that, get together every weekend and spend time together. So
Sure.
that's kind of what makes racing special, I think. That like you said, the camaraderie and the family part of it too.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, you see a lot of, and I'm sure that boy will go with you guys racing too. When he gets bigger, and you see a lot of we have a lot of them that run the Heartland Tour, like Denise was saying, that have kids and they haul them around the pitch, and I'm sure they're going to grow up into the racing world and all that stuff, and that's great. That's what we need. We need to keep the younger generation. The younger generation is really being put not really on the back burner, like I want to say, but it's just like newer racers. We're seeing a few, but not enough. I think we need to see more, some new young blood in there. There's some good young racers out there right now that are coming up into the big. I mean, the Lucas Oil late models and the USMTS has got some young kids in it, and but I don't think we need to quit trying to get more of them for sure.
Yeah,
That
speaking of the
leads to a
kids
good
deal.
question, Mike.
Oh, go ahead, buddy. Sorry, I didn't mean to
That leads
interrupt
to a
you.
good question. Kind of from your point of view and what you guys are seeing down by you, what do you think is going to help the sport overall of racing? Get more fans in the seats, drivers continue to show up. What's kind of your insight and opinion on that?
Well, I think the drivers are still coming. Um, I think the sport pays too much money. I know that sounds weird as a racer, but I mean, I think it's getting too much. It's cost a lot anyway, but I think the pay less at the races to the driver or spread it out a little bit or something. But without having people in the grandstands, I've been on both sides of this deal too. I've been fortunate to race all the way to. I haven't flipped a cheeseburger, I don't think, at a track, but I would. But that you have to have them people in there. I've heard the numbers, and you talk to people, and that have racetracks and own racetracks, and the biggest thing is promotion. You have to promote a track. You have to. I know it costs money too in a lot of ways, but you have to get your name out there. I mean, so many places now. Some tracks just Facebook. I mean, yeah, it's free advertisement. It works. A lot of people get it. And I mean, your deal here, that's how I found it. It was your deal on Facebook. You guys put it on there, but you have to go, elsewhere, sponsors. You got to beat the roads and get out there and get the people interested in coming to your facility. And I'm not necessarily having free nights or cheap entry to get in or nothing like that. I don't think is the fix of it. I think a set rate price to get in. I know Mississippi Thunder up there. I watched their deal here a couple of weeks ago, and they're going through the same battles that everybody else. I mean, the affordability of it for us as the racers one thing, but you don't think of it when you go to a track, which you guys are really close with all them families up there, but and you know it as well. But when you go to them tracks, I mean, you feel for them. I mean, that's the first thing I do now, which is back where even if I'm racing or at the Heartland races, if them fans are all in the stands, then that track at least is going to make money that night. So, um, and they're not asking to make a lot of money. I don't think, a racetrack, a dirt track's not going to get rich, just like us local racers. We're not going to get rich doing what we're doing. We do it because we like it. The problem with these racetracks that get kicked in the teeth every week and spend, there's a racetrack here local, not Lucas, but a local track that I know that he runs it. And last weekend he lost $5,000.
Yeah.
It cost the owner $5,000 out of his pocket after everything was done. We just can't have that happen because the racetracks can't absorb that. I mean, there's a lot of people that don't have it, and I think I don't have the answers to all of it, of course, but I mean, you got to get your sponsorship out there. You got to hit the ground. You got to move around. Make things enjoyable to track to get to people to attract them to come there. I mean, I know it's a dirt track, but there's a lot of things you can do at a dirt track, to get
Mhm.
people there. You can
Right.
get them there early to do other things. I think, and like driver autograph sessions or something at a weekly track. I mean, what about advertising something like that? Just say, hey, this week we're going to have and get some names and get them committed and put them on, and put them out there and say, and the Hales are coming, and the old man dad, the champions come, just have a list of people coming. And I think it would help somebody go, oh man, I'd like to go meet him, because a lot of people's never seen the faces of
They
us
just see
driving.
the car.
They just see
Yeah.
the car. They don't know who's in that car or what
It's,
they. I
it's
agree.
so much it's so much different and I remember that as a kid as well. When I was a kid, though, I was fortunate enough when the races were over, you could go to the pits, and all of them was over there still. It
Mhm.
wasn't loaded up and left. I know times have changed and people got busy, but um I think that would help. And then having people bring their cars early, bring a race car too, and bring them up at the grandstands, and have an autograph session with their car, and just to get the racer to know, what, Parker, what do you like? What do you look like? What do you look like? What do you like to do? I mean,
Yeah, you don't
I
have
just
to
think
talk racing necessarily. Just have that personal connection and be
100%
engaged.
could talk about your baby more than racing, and people just, I think it would be, a lot more up to it, and just getting them up close and personal. Because when I was small, when there's a lot of racers, you never see what they look like. They get out, it's funny. Some of them are bald. You're like, holy shit, that guy ain't got
Yeah.
no hair.
It's funny you say that, Mike, because I can think of one instance when I was a little kid. I remember, I don't know if you remember Jeremy Payne back in the day.
Oh yeah, that was a
I
good friend,
thought
very
I
good friend
he
of
used to
mine.
drive this blue and yellow 186 GRT. I thought it was just the coolest race car. And I
I got
remember
his
I
now
remember
hanging in my shop.
Oh yeah. So I remember at the Fall Jamboree, and I wish they would still do this. They used to do the out of car introductions. They
Yeah,
used
there,
they used to do
there you go.
they'd take all the people, put the featherlight hats on, and they'd shoot
There
off
you
the
go.
fire, and it was
Yeah,
super cool. And I remember I was a little kid, probably, I don't know, 7, 8 years old. And I remember walking, I remember my dad was out there, and I went walking on the front stretch when they were announcing all the people, and I was looking for Jeremy Payne because I didn't know what he looked like. And I remember I bumped into, I think it was Bumper Jones. Do you remember him, the 111 or
hmm
Royal Bump? And I'm like, "Are you Jeremy
Royal Sun
Payne?"
bumper. Yeah.
Yep, and he goes, "No, I'm Bumper," and he took me over to Jeremy Payne, and I got to meet Jeremy Payne. I don't know why I remember that, but that's something, I'm 24 years old now. I remember that from 17, 18
Sure.
years ago. Still sticks out in my head. I got to meet Jeremy Payne that day. I didn't know what he looked like, but I knew his race
Mhm.
car, and that's just one instance I can think of. But I remember as a kid, how how big that was to me. How cool it was that I got to meet Jeremy Payne that day. I don't know
Sure.
why, but it was cool. And there's a lot
Mhm.
of kids probably still in that place that want to go, oh my gosh, I met Shadron Turner, I met Tanner Mullins, and you guys, I do want to touch on that a little bit, your Outlaw, your Kids Club deal that you're working with. You guys are
Right.
doing a really good job of getting these young kids, interacted in the sport of racing because unfortunately, um, we're not, like I said, there's not as many kids in the sport right now. You don't see the kids
Mhm.
running around in the dirty t-shirts playing in the dirt with their Matchbox cars. I mean, you don't see as much of that at the racetracks nowadays. And I mean, it does, you know, 15 years from now, those are the kids that might be the race car drivers, or those are the kids that might still be coming to the racetracks with their family. So, keeping these kids involved in the sport is incredibly important. And like I said, I do want to touch on your guys' deal if you want to go into
Sure.
that a little bit, but just yeah, just keeping fans interacted and kids interacted. Like you said, it's very important.
Yeah, I think if you get fans and driver contact, I think that's what needs to be more of at a race. I mean, there's a race, a weekly race, a fan to come and watch Kenny Carroll. He's a super stock driver. He's a
94.
Yeah,
Yep.
super good guy, funny guy, just crack you up and would talk to anybody. But I bet if you made a poll of, I don't know, over half of the people probably don't even know what he looks like, let alone
Yeah.
about him. And he just lives here, and they call him Ditch Digger, and just the interaction of the fans and the out of car introductions, like you said. When I flagged for MLRA, we did it every feature we went. We did the four wide, but we did stopped them on the front stretch. They all got out of their cars, introduced them, and when you did that, you could look up at the fence, and it was just packed with
Yep.
Fans
everybody.
and
They
kids,
want
yeah.
to know what you look like.
And I don't know, Mike, if we had one with Todd Narveson, the announcer at Deer Creek Speedway. We had an episode with him a couple episodes ago, and he just got, talking about, making stuff special again as far as, these big races. We see. I mean, I remember as a kid, the USMTS was huge. I mean, it was
Sure,
such a big deal with, Al
sure.
Hain on it and Jason Hughes and Kelly Shryock, and it was such a big deal. And they do the, the out of car introductions at the Jamboree, and it's like I feel like now a little bit, and this isn't a knock at Todd or them guys or any of these tours. We do the four wide salute, and that's cool, but we've kind of become accustomed to that, and it's kind of lost its pizzazz. It's kind of lost the.
Yeah,
I don't
I
want to
agree
say it's
100%.
but like you said, when you were with the MLRA, you did those out of car deals, and the kids, they're up
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
fence yelling and waving, and it's like we just need to get back to that. That's all stuff that you can do. Yeah, it takes a little bit of time, but it's not costing these racetracks money, and it's all stuff that makes people want to come back and just
Well,
make them feel like a little bit more a part of the show. I feel like.
at least do the class that's featured that night. I mean, the biggest
Absolutely.
problem that they have, that racetracks have now, two things. One, they're always crunched for time. And the
Mhm.
reason, in my opinion, they're crunched for time, not all tracks, but most have too many classes. Why do they have too many classes? Because they're trying to make money. Because they don't more classes. They try. I understand how it all works. I mean, if you could realistically have four good classes and make money and have a good crowd, and but I think a lot of it's time. We're all, and I think we all are. We all are in a hurry. I mean, even sometimes at our Heartland races, you feel like, let's just take a minute here.
Yeah.
Why are we in such a rush? But you want to get it done for the promoter, and we just had the last race weekend we had over at Lake Ozark Speedway. It's about an hour east of here, and dude, that place was freaking packed. I mean, standing room only. The pits were packed. It's on Saturday. A good friend of mine, Jason Russell, which was a
Yep.
modified racer. It was a tribute to him on Saturday, and man, I ain't kidding you. There was freaking people lined up way out in the parking lot, and it was just, you don't see that very often
No.
in races anymore like you used to. I mean, just, and not to pick on any one track. I mean, you used to be able to come over here to Lucas to show me 100, and then you better be there early or have a reserved seat, or you're going to be standing, and
Mhm.
it's just
Not
not
like.
that way anymore. And I'm not blaming just one thing or another on it, but I think we've just lost sight of disconnecting, in my opinion, the people with the racer. I think
Mhm.
there needs to be more of it. And the kids, like you were saying, and that's the main reason why me and my wife started this Outlaw Kids Tour that we do now. We started a Facebook page, and the same kind of thing as a promoter. We reached out to several different sponsors and to help, and it's a nonprofit organization we make $0 on it. We just do it for the love of the sport, and and me, I'm a freaking kid anyway, and Mama D is too. We're all hyped up and fired up, and everybody, when you go somewhere, you're like, who's the biggest kid on that damn golf cart? Well, probably me. But to get them, it's the same kind of thing when you get them kids, and we draw out six kids. I've taken eight, and you go to a racetrack, it's mind blowing that over half of the kids, I could say maybe 60% of the kids I've taken this season, was their first time they've ever been to a racetrack.
That's
I'm like,
awesome.
You've never been to a racetrack? No, I've never been to race. And I don't know why they were there that night, but I'm like, why? But I know there's other things in life, but not for
Yeah.
me. Everybody's got to go to the damn races, and they just like to go to the races, and then when you get to go and actually walk up, I don't know if you've we got a Facebook page where you can see the
Yep.
pictures, those pictures, and man, these drivers just freaking love it. I don't care who you are. You don't you can be anybody. You can be Ricky Thornton Jr. or you can be Billy Bob Jr. I don't care who you are. You are a hero to them kids. They don't know who they are. Um, and just to make it where it's special, the probably the biggest special happened a couple of weeks ago. We went to is a Heartland race, and I try to go to the Heartland modifieds too. Like Luke at Lake Ozark, I did some sprint cars too. They had sprint cars there too as well, and I went to some of them too. But I like a lot of our Heartland now. Them guys have actually got like goodie bags put together, for the kids, and like Shadron Turner and Dean Willie, the 127. Um, yeah, Hodges and Tad Davis, just and they're like, oh, here he comes, like freaking trick or treat, and I'm like, and them kids get to see those guys up, and get to sit in their cars, and then when we do intermission, we do the redraw. The kids that got to go on the tour do the top six redraw, and whoever redraws the guy that wins gets the trophy for that night.
Sure.
So um, one then one of them won. They drew for Brandon at Nevada a few weeks ago, and Brandon Gibbons won the race. And this little girl was just crazy about Brandon. Didn't know him before, but loved him. And at the end of the night, she's a fan, dude. She messaged him. He messaged her on Facebook and asked what size shirt the little girl wore the week after. Shipped her a shirt. She went to school this year, first year. And first day of school, she wore his racing T-shirt to school, and they posted it. I'm like,
That's what it's all about right there,
and
Absolutely.
man.
never, and that girl had never been to the races, and I'm like, it's like you meeting Jeremy Payne. It's the same thing. That little girl will always, hopefully be a friend and a fan of Brandon, and come
Sure.
watch him. Because whenever you draw for a number, you have them six drivers. I'm like, now you need to pull for that driver, and I've watched them in the stands. They're pulling for that car. They know what that car looks like. They've went to the pits. They've met him, and I just think it's really special. We just have a super group of people that's stepped aboard and helped us and give us stuff, and they know what it's all about too. They know that we need to have the kids and not necessarily just the 6 to 12-year-old kids either. I mean, we need the 16, 17-year-old kids. I-35. Here's another thing I think was you're talking about how making races work. I-35 out there, Mr. Johnson that owns it over here. He lets up to 18 free in
Wow.
his in
Wow.
the grandstands. Ages up to 18 in the grandstands. And his thought, and it's worked for him, they come to the grandstand and they upgrade their thing to a pit pass to go in the pits. And he said he's had 10 or 12 young boys that race there now
Wow.
that
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 started
got
doing
into
that.
it. When you're 18, you're nowadays in this era, if you wasn't raised in it, you're probably not going to go to the track unless you have an incentive to go there. I mean, oh
Mhm.
hell,
Right.
it's free. There might be some chicks there.
Right.
Yeah.
They're going to chase women, and well, hell, shit, there's a race car here too, and maybe you're going to get some fans. So
Yeah.
now here's
And
a picture of the trophy that we got. I don't know if you can see it on.
oh yeah, that is
Oh, that's
awesome.
super cool.
Yeah, see, every kid gets that, and they sign the back of it for them and get their picture taken in victory lane. And Dean
That
Willie come up with that and donated all those and cut them out of plastic, and it's a pretty cool deal.
that's a
That's very
great
cool.
deal you guys are doing. That's and like you said, talking about that little girl with, she wore a Brandon Givens t-shirt to the first day of school.
Yeah,
What's she gonna do on the first day of school? She's gonna go tell her teacher, she's gonna go tell her friends, I got to go to the races this weekend, and then maybe, maybe they go tell their mom and dad, and pretty soon mom and dad are taking these kids to the race. And it's just that trickle effect of, and
I think so. I
getting
think
people to
that's
the
what
races.
we need to get seats in the stands for sure because these racetracks are just it's getting harder and harder for them. And we were in town last weekend. They had a big race at Lucas, and we were leaving to go to the Heartland race, and we went to Hickamo. It was crazy. It was a 100-mile yard sale that go from 54 highway. They do every year here. It's chaos, dude. It's not a time to be on 54 highway. But it was amazing how many people running around town while the races were going on. I'm like, what are they doing? What do they know there's a racetrack here? Some of them may not even know. I don't know. I mean, of course, I make fun of Gary Christian. He's a really good friend of mine. He's a really good guy. I usually take him out for breakfast when they come into town, and we get to visit with him. And I followed him. He come to this last USMTS race, and he come the old way on 83, probably the way it came. There was a new entrance here when you were here off of
Uh,
54.
mm, I wouldn't even
I
know. I
can't remember.
probably
Yeah.
It might have been. Well, he went the old way on 83 by the Wheatland School, and I
we
seen
came in by the cow pastures and we took a right by the Casey's, come by your place, turn up.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
how we come
Yeah.
in, I think.
Cow pack.
Isn't
You
there
come
some cow
out.
pastures and isn't there an old isn't
Yeah,
there
there's
a
cows everywhere, dude. There's cows everywhere. Is there cows where you live?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, I just remember when we come into the big city of Wheatland, we'd always come in, and on our right hand side, you'd see Lucas Oil Speedway
Yep.
here,
See the
and
sign.
there
See the
and there
big
was
old up
there's
sign.
this
Yeah.
really old rundown. I don't want to say rundown, but there's this old house. I think there's some cattle out there, or something. And you just see the racetrack in the corner, and then you come up, and the Casey's is on your right. Take your right, and your Striegel's
Yeah.
house is on the left, and that's how we
Yeah.
always come in.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Out on we call it the prairie.
Yeah, the
The
prairie.
Prairie. Okay.
The Wheatland Prairie
There
is
we
where
go.
the cows roam around town.
Sure, sure. Yeah, the big city of Wheatland, Missouri.
Right. But I mean, just get people involved and get them in the stands because man, I just worry for racetracks not opening up, and it's going to come more and more. I think
It
in
is.
our sport, it
Because
really
once they
is.
start dying and they close,
They don't
who's
come
gonna
back.
open them back up?
Yeah,
If it
there is.
Yeah, I've just that's my fear too, is like all these tracks you enjoy going to, even if you're not racing, just to go watch a race, if they
Mhm.
close, and the business owner before them or who promoted the track was passionate about it, but they couldn't make it work,
Right.
who the hell else is gonna pick it up and make
Yeah.
it successful and keep
It
it
takes
going?
a
Sure.
it takes a special kind of person to run a racetrack. I mean, it does. It takes a
I
person
think
that's
so.
just like you said, just got a passion for the sport, and like you said, once those places go away, they usually don't come back. Mike, I heard a number, and I won't say where this was, but I've heard numbers as big as some of these weekly shows, around our area. I've heard losses as big as 10, 13,000 on a bad weekly night,
Yeah.
five, six, seven,
No, sure.
$8,000. I mean, I
I
don't
think
care.
5,000, 5 or 6, 7, 8's average.
I don't
Unfortunately, that's average.
I don't care how much money you got. I mean, who can maybe there are racetrack owners that can afford to lose $8,000 every week, but who wants to? I don't care how
No,
passionate you are. Nobody wants to just sit there and
no,
lose money. I mean, at least if like Bob talked about this, he goes, "We don't do this to make money, but at least if we can break even or come close
that's
to that, you
that's
know."
what I'm saying.
But this whole losing 5, 6, 8, $10,000 a night, it just you can't sustain that. And like I said, it all goes back to getting people in the grandstands.
And yeah, you got to get the people there. I mean, I don't necessarily think that lowering the cost is a. I mean, I don't. I think, in my opinion, when somebody lowers the cost or something, that just unvalues your product you have.
Correct.
I
Absolutely.
understand. I mean, if 12 or 15 bucks, I mean, letting you in free or paying $15. I mean, my product is worth $15 to come in.
Right.
Absolutely.
if you could get the people to do that. I'm not saying running a special $5 night or a whatever senior night or here and there. I understand that works as well, but and there are a lot of tracks you go to. I think would help if you had more person like contact. I mean, there's some tracks that I've been to even that you don't even know who their promoter even is.
Sure.
Who runs this place?
Mhm.
Right.
I mean, I know that guy's probably busy, but I mean, I think that there needs to be people coming around. We have a little racetrack that's not open anymore. That has nothing to do with the value of the product, like we're talking, but Urbana Speedway. I don't know if you ever
Yep.
heard of it. We had a barn burner USMTS race there a few years ago, and I was lucky enough to get to race that. But a gentleman named Bill Allen, he's an older guy, and um, you'd always seen that old man running around. I don't mean to call him an old man, but he's an old guy, but he's a super good guy. But he'd always come around and thank you for being there. And I know you can't hit everybody, but I think more of that would not hurt at a racetrack. I mean, and say, hey, I'm so and so, and I think they value that, or thank somebody for coming, you know?
I remember at Deer Creek Speedway, I give a lot of credit to the Queenslands here. I remember Randy Queensland owned the racetrack for a long time. I remember, I don't know if you remember this, Parker. He'd always sit when the people were leaving the grandstands. He'd sit and he'd shake hands right at
They
the
can.
when
Yeah.
people are leaving, tell them thanks for coming. Like you said, that's
Yep.
you'd be
That's huge.
surprised how far that little personal interaction goes to getting people to come back.
One
I
I
think,
have to compliment was Zach Gerhardt at Fairmont a couple weeks ago. I didn't know who Zach Gerhardt was. I didn't even realize he was a guy given the pit meeting. But then all of a sudden, we're like in between our heat race and feature, we're sitting in the stands, and his family's got a really good food truck. Fairmont Raceway might have the best food in any country or any racetrack across the country. Phenomenal.
right.
But Zach come in, we're sitting there as my father-in-law, my dad, two of my buddies, and myself. We're sitting there talking about the feature. Hobby stocks out there rolling. This big tall guy comes walking in, sits down. Zach, thanks for coming tonight. Appreciate you supporting the series. Thanks for coming to my track. And shook my hand and we sat and talked for 10, 15 minutes and talked about improvements, that they could do here. And, he's like, man, I got the place. I wanted to get it drier for you tonight, but I appreciate you showing up. And like just that 10 to 15-minute interaction from the promoter coming in your trailer, shaking your hand, thanking you for coming. I thought
100%.
that was a class act right there. I mean, that says a lot about that person to just come and make the conscious effort to thank you for driving, 2.5 hours to race this
Sure.
track on a Friday night. That
Sure.
was went a long ways with me.
Yeah. It's just something you do. You just feel welcome there, and the same thing can be sent to the grandstand side. I mean, you could do things to interact with the fans and make them feel like they're having a good time. I mean, I know there's racing that had. There's other things we can do, in them grandstands to make the people want to come and do and come be a part of it, not just the races, but they could be part of something else as well. So
Right.
I think the bigger tracks are probably harder to do that probably than a smaller, I mean, Springfield Raceway down there, Jerry Hoffman had freaking 212 race cars last week at his
Wow.
racetrack on a Saturday night, 212 in the pits. There's not room for 60 cars in there,
Yeah,
something,
we've been there. Hell,
But
I know.
yeah,
but he'll get them in there. But he just he's got a skeleton crew there. He doesn't have, a big pizzazzy, he's got a good racetrack and they everybody knows when they go there they're gonna have, a good racetrack. It's gonna be the same. It's gonna be the same way all the way around. But it's just amazing that close to home you see a racetrack with now he had a lot of damn classes. I understand they had too many classes. But I mean, it still happens. There's still I don't know about the grandstands. And a lot of them call it back gate racing, and so be it. I mean, I get it. If it makes the promoter make his bills in the back gate, then that works, and that well, they'll keep coming back for more. But like you said, if they go 5 to 10 grand a hit,
Right.
they're just not going to be absorb it very long.
Right.
exactly. So yeah, I hope it turns around. God, I hope
Yeah, I
we
do
don't
too.
want to see weekly racing go away. I mean, I love watching specials. I love Lucas Oil late models. Love the World of Outlaws. Love USMTS, Heartland Series, Northern Lights. but there's something special about weekly racing still. Knowing you're not racing for
Sure.
a ton of money, but just showing up. You got your crew, your friends, family that show up each
Hmm.
and every week, and
Sure.
I hope that never goes away. But it's just a little disheartening the way it's
It's kind of
gone
scary.
the
It's kind of
last four or
scary right
five
now.
years.
Some it really
Yeah,
is.
So
it's a little. What is the you've run all the Northern Light races up there?
I have. Yep.
I haven't talked to anybody now that I have you sitting down. What do you think of that series up there? I haven't talked to anybody that's running that up there. I know our Heartland deal here is just everybody loves it. It's a working man's series, and it's the same kind of situation Trenton's doing up there with you guys. I'm saying, but what do you think what do you think about that series? What's good and what's not good? What could be better? What could not be better? People were listening about the Northern Lights versus like our Heartland series. I mean, it's like a mini USMTS. I mean, you got
Yeah.
some good cats there too. I mean, Brandon
Yeah.
Davis and you guys got some good people that
Oh,
sneak in there and race with you too. It's not a give me for sure. But
yeah.
what's your pros and cons about that series up there up north?
Um, Definitely way more pros than any cons by all means. I like that
Hmm.
we're racing within 3 hours of home, any which way we go. Each
Yes.
track we've gone to has been great to race at. Good surfaces. There's a couple tracks that we went to this year that don't race modifieds. So like Winnesheek Raceway was awesome to go race at. Um, Cresco, that was a track I grew up watching my dad race at. They don't race modifieds or even race a weekly schedule by any means. So that was cool to go down there and support that show.
Did you notice with the places you went to that's not have modifieds weekly? Did you ever hear the feedback of fans that showed up that maybe wasn't there that came to watch you guys because you were there? Do you think that helped that racetrack to have that series
Um,
there?
I think
Crowds were
so.
good, weren't they?
Webster City had an okay stance from what I could saw. We were in the
Yeah,
infield. Cresco was
they don't.
packed. Decor was
They don't run.
packed.
They don't run A mods weekly,
They don't
right?
know.
Yeah,
Um, the the only con I have that I haven't been super fond of some nights is there's been some inconsistencies as far as like some nights we've done like draw redraw for heat races, other nights we've done qualifying. So like to me,
right.
if it's a point series, to me the qualifying each night should be consistent at each track you go to because there's been some nights and usually it's qualifying, but there's been a few nights where we just did, draw for your heats, race, pass points, top six redraw, which is fine. I personally like the qualifying just because it's good to get a good
Sure.
get your
Yeah.
hot lap, make a few adjustments, go out, turn two, three quick laps, see where it sets you up in the heat race. And if you can time in well, you're gonna start top three, top four in a heat race. So you still get,
Right.
you got to get top two to make the redraw. So I really do like that, but I would say the biggest thing, and I know a few other drivers have kind of voiced their opinions on it, is just stay either consistent with the draw redraw or just do straight up qualifying at every track, no matter where we go. Stay consistent with that. We do a four wide parade salute for the fans before we go
Yeah.
green. I think that's awesome.
Yes.
Um, we get a number of great drivers that show up. Like Shadron Turner's been coming.
Yeah.
Brandon
He's
Davis
come
has
up.
been at every show. We get the Chisholm boys once in a while. Lucas Shaw,
Jacob,
Jacob Leese, Alex
Yeah.
East.
Anderson, Jake Tim's coming this weekend. I'm sure Dustin
Oh,
may or
really?
may not be there.
Okay.
So you get some good drivers. Um, the one thing that's the one thing that's I guess a con, and it's not really anyone's fault, is we need more drivers to support that series. So on any given night, we've had anywhere, I would say the average car count's probably like 17 to 18 cars.
Right.
MTS, Deer Creek, we had better car counts. Cresco, Decorah, they were a little later on cars. Webster City, I think the one night we only had 14. Still had a good race, but a couple of those races just went green to checkered. Like we just didn't have enough cars
Right.
on the track to make like a really good race. It just kind of got spread out a few of them, but again, not knocking anything. Just
Sure.
the one
Yeah.
kind of happens just with the either qualifying or passing points. Just stay consistent throughout the whole year with that versus having some shows this way, some shows another way to line you up for your heat race. Um, but outside that, I love it. Trenton Berry, Eric Chesterman, those guys are doing a great job with that series. I just
Mhm.
hope that this year it gains some traction and we can carry into next year, even if it's not a full schedule. If we do
Sure.
a 20 race schedule where it's not every weekend, but you can still go and race for 1,500 to 2,000 bucks and still get that
Sure.
work
Right.
life race balance and still go race for decent money. I think that's a huge benefit as well. But yeah, I just hope it grows.
I
Yeah.
think it's cool because like I didn't mean to interrupt you there, Mike.
No, you're
I think it's cool because like even if a guy wanted to do some other things, but he could just say, I'm gonna race, the Heartland Tour or the Northern Lights deal, and he could still race his, 15 to 20 shows a year, race for
sure.
some decent money, and he can still get, like I said, 15, 20 shows. I mean, that's a full year for an average person, 20 shows. I mean,
100%. Yeah.
that's a full year. So I mean, if a guy just wanted to dedicate his summer to racing that tour, like Parker said, you race a couple nights and you might get 2, 3 weeks off to go on the boat with the kids or go camping and do that stuff.
Hmm.
Where I think that's great. Like, some of these guys, like Parker said, we need the weekly racing. I love weekly racing, but not everybody can dedicate every Friday, Saturday to race weekly. But
Make it
this way, a
hard.
guy can still get his 15, 20 shows in, spend some time with his family, and, every night race for 1,500, 2,000, 2,500 bucks, race for some good money. I think that's something good they've got going there.
And I think you could race weekly. And what last year, um, uh, Jason Pursley
Yep.
raced the full Heartland Tour and won the points championship at Lucas Oil Speedway.
Wow.
So I thought that was probably, I mean, everything stars lined up for him, but yeah, it worked out where he raced all the races at the racetrack for points and race that. And that's another thing I think. And speaking of, I keep going back to trying to help the sport and trying to help the racer and trying to help the racetracks and to get the people there. But to get the people there, I think you have to have drivers there, obviously. And I
Mhm.
think the drivers are showing up. But I think if a racetrack could get out there and beat the doors and get some good point fund stuff for their weekly racing, I think that would bring better, not better. I'm not knocking the drivers that race local, but it would bring some better racers and more racers. Like 81 Speedways paying 10 grand to win their weekly
Wow.
point.
Wow.
For the modifieds?
Yes.
Wow.
Holy
And
shit.
JR's done well out there and probably got people stepped up. And if we're racing somewhere, a Heartland race and stuff like that, and Tyler Davis is there, and Saturday night comes around, 81's racing, well, he goes back to 81
Sure.
because they're paying 10 grand to win the points championship. So I think if we could make a points championship better, I mean, I won the points championship at Lucas Oil Speedway in 2015, about the time we met, around in
Yeah.
that time, and you win 500
Right.
bucks
Mhm.
to beat your guts out all year over there. I mean,
Mhm.
it got to, and Lucas got better. They made it a little better there because your 500 bucks come from Staley from the USRA
Mhm.
to win a championship through USRA at a USRA track, and then Lucas would match it. So it would be 500 from each one. But I think a points fund would be deal. And then what about a fantasy league at a local track? How,
Well, that'd be
for
kind of
fan
cool.
for
That's kind
fan
of cool.
for a fan based deal. Have a fantasy league for your local racers, and you have to be in attendance to be to participate in it and make a little. I
Bored.
mean, it don't have to be a huge thing, but you
Yeah.
make 500 bucks if you win the fantasy league at the
Sure.
end of the season and get it sponsored and pay back five. I mean, and get some people that way. Do a fantasy racing, pick your drivers every week, and that would be a way of bringing people in. I mean, hell, I'd join one if I was a weekly
Right.
racer if I
That's a
can
good
win.
idea. That's a really good idea.
And you could find people to sponsor stuff like that. Your fantasy league sponsored by so and so, just like class sponsors. So, and that might be on the grandstand side, bringing people in. Um, I noticed a lot of the tracks we went to traveling that I haven't noticed, and I see more of, is food trucks at racetracks. I have seen a lot of that, and I've talked to a couple of to the promoters, and it was just cost efficiency wise, that was the way to do it. Warrensburg up there, they don't have a concession stand. They sell soda, water. Monette Speedway's that way. several tracks were that way, and they said it just didn't make dollar cents buying all the food and trying to, sell it weekly. They just take a concession trailer and get 4 or 5 of them that come every week, and they do well with it, and they pay them a percentage, and they don't have to worry about their food. And I think that helps racetracks. I don't think that's a bad thing, and you can get rid of. Not that people don't like to work and all that, but it's hard to find people that want to work at a racetrack as well as go watch a race, let alone race and all that. People to work there is probably to be reliable, like you say, every Saturday night you have to come flip burgers. Well, they're going to get tired of flipping burgers finally, but if you get a food truck there, they're going to come. That's their business. So I think that would help a racetrack too. I mean, some certain places, limit your concession a little bit and bring some vendors in and stuff like that. I think just to get the people in there, something different.
Yeah, those are very good. Yeah, very good ideas there, Mike.
I've
So
seen a
now
lot of that. I just seen a lot of the food truck, and it just really looked like it went over well.
I gotta ask you, Mike, because I never knew the story behind this. Why are you the outlaw? What's the story behind the outlaw?
Well, I was going to do a deal on Facebook here a while back about where I come up with the outlaw. Who nobody. There's few people that know, but how that came about. Well, at one point, I worked for TP, Terry Phillips. I worked for him for about 18 months, traveling up and down USMTS and late models. He was really dedicated into late models, had 2 Bloomquist cars, and met a lot of great people there as well. That was fun. I learned that wasn't a real easy way of making a living and getting ahead in life. So I went back to plumbing real quick, but it was fun while it lasted. But when I was working for him, to make extra money, I'm like, I'm going to start building bodies on race cars. He goes, really? I go, yeah, I'm gonna start doing it on the side and making a little extra cash. And like I come up with a name. He's like, we were just driving on the road probably 3 or 4 in the morning, half awake, drinking coffee and seeing black dogs run across the road that wasn't really there and doing all that fun stuff. And he said, what about outlaw race bodies? I'm like, what? He goes, outlaw race bodies. That sounds good, don't it? And I'm like, well, hell, that's pretty cool. So that's where it started. And then when that started, outlaw race bodies, and I was racing at Wheatland, and the announcer at the time there, Kevin Fletcher, started calling from Wheatland, and just they put 2 and 2 together, so they started calling me the Wheatland Outlaw
Well,
while I
sure.
was racing. So that's where and it's been that way for 20 years now. So well, about yeah, we've been up here 19 years, so that's how it all started. Terry Phillips actually is the one that started the Outlaw
Okay.
name
And I
for
never
me.
knew that. I just, like I said, for as long as
Yeah,
I've known you, I've always known
yeah,
you as the Wheatland Outlaw.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. It started with him and naming the outlaw bodies, and then the announcer over here at Wheatland just started calling me the Wheatland Outlaw, and it stuck. Everybody gets that's like slide job. I come up with that with you that one night. You come
Yeah.
in raising hell and saying, "Do you see me?" So you didn't have a quarter panel on your car, and I think it was over here. I think at Wheatland, wasn't it? Or no, it was up. No, was it
No,
Deer
it was at
Creek?
Fountain City, I
Fountain
think.
City. Yeah, Fountain City. I'm like, yeah, that has got to be the craziest kid. You couldn't have been very old.
No, I just remember we were sitting around. It was
Yeah.
us and I remember I think you were drinking Peach Crown, and it might have been the Johnson families from South Dakota. We were sitting
Yeah.
around the ethanol fire, and
Yep.
I don't know if you
Yep.
remember that, and
Oh yeah, I do. Sure
something.
do. That's
I don't know. I had to have been at that time. I'd have probably been 14, 13, somewhere
yeah,
in
I was
there.
thinking
Just
something like that.
that annoying little brace face pre-puberty little shithead phase, and I just
Oh, I'll never forget it.
yeah,
Doing
I remember saying something about someday, screw a 2-car slide job. You ever seen a 10-car slide job? I'm gonna try that tomorrow or something. And then you've called me slide job ever since.
I have ever since, and that's where it originated. And I'm like, and you did it too. That next night, you were sliding and running into shit, and I'm like, oh my god, I love that guy. Your dad just shook his head. Yeah, your
We
dad
still
just
see that. We still see the head shake.
Not really.
from your
I'm
dad.
pretty good.
Yeah,
Both
you got
both of us. I was saying both of us. There's nights you got your tail tucked between your legs. You come off the track and you're like,
Yeah.
"Ugh, that was
you
questionable.
like
I don't know
I
if I
couldn't
should have
do
done
that.
that one."
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's really been great. There we have just a lot of northern friends just from the travels, and Denise has got a lot of girls up there, and a lot of it from Deer Creek, And John Stewart owned my car. I
Yep.
come up there every jamboree, and that I need to come back up there. I need to come back
Love
I'd
up,
to
love to
have
see
you.
you, Mike. Yeah, if you came out for
and
the Jamboree or one of these fall
it's
races.
in 3 weeks, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's the last weekend, the twenty
I
seventh
think it's
through
the
the 29th.
24th to the 27th.
Yeah, it's the
So
last.
it's yeah, 24th. I think practice is on Wednesday, which is the 24th, race the 25th, 26th, 27th.
Oh, okay.
But
Darla going to be there.
He'll be there.
I'm sure
Yep.
giving everyone a little hard time.
I've gotten to like him really well. He softened up a little bit
He's
after he.
really not a bad guy. Like if you talk to him, like we were talking about this a few weeks ago, and it's like I don't have a problem with Darlow. I don't always like the calls he makes or the shit he makes me fix, but he is pretty fair most of the time, and if there is something he's DQing you on, there's
Right.
definitely a reason. So I can't sit and badmouth the guy by any means because I wouldn't
No,
want to do his job and take hell from
no.
everyone on any given night. So
I didn't realize how he was. It was a Northern Lights. I think you guys had, and he got on camera. Trenton cornered him down there at Tech
yep,
Yeah, he
and talked
did.
to him.
Yep.
He started talking through a mic in front of him, like,
Yep.
and Doc pretty pretty quiet, and man, he just spit off a list of crap he was teching, and I'm
yeah.
like. Yeah, I really have come really good friends with him and his wife. They're really, really good people. And he's just doing his job, and nobody likes the job that he does. Nobody
Oh,
likes the people that does his job. So,
I chapped his ass at Fairmont. We were pulling up to the pit gate to buy our pit passes, and he had his truck with the time to tech plates on it in the four wheeler. I said, Darlow, he had his back turned to me. I said, Darlow. And he looks, and I said, your right front is way too high on that pickup. Your deck side, you got to get that down. I'll let it slide this time, but next time I see it, it's going to be a Dairy Queen. And he just laughed.
uh,
He's like, I'm going to remember that later. He just
and he will.
I had to give him some shit.
I've been DQ'd a lot, and 90% of the time it was that guy right there. But
Oh,
it
yeah.
was legit. It was a
Oh,
legit deal. I mean, you can
I
argue with it,
I always
and
say I've never actively, I can say this honestly, I've never actively cheated in a race car. And I do everything I can be to be legal every year. But every time I show up to a racetrack and I see Darlow, I'm like, it just makes you think. I'm like, oh, is there something that I don't know about that he's gonna find? Probably. Like, if I don't know about it, he probably is gonna find it, or just always
yeah.
makes me nervous.
right. Yeah, he can find stuff you didn't even know you had. But no,
Right.
we would look forward to coming up there. That would that'd be a good time for sure.
Yeah.
Um, you have some other fall races? What else you got coming up north the
There ain't
rest of
much
the
up
season?
here.
Not
Mason
much going
City,
on now, just that.
Mason
Oh,
City has a
Webster
race the
City.
week before. I think they got a two day show at Mason, and then it's a
Oh,
jamboree the week after.
when's it? The weekend before?
Yep. And then
Mason, yes.
yeah, MTS's race is this weekend, Mason City, and then yeah, the fall jamboree. And then I don't know what's left after that.
You have a mod race this weekend up there?
Yeah, it's the North Star Nationals, so it's the final 2 points nights for the Northern Lights series.
Oh, okay. You guys
Yep,
see just ending.
it is. Yep. So
Where you at? How about your points? Where you at?
third, third. So yeah, I want to. It would take a really good 2 nights to end up second. I don't know if I can get Blease. He'd have to have two like really bad nights, and I'd probably have to win to get second. But if I could get top three in that, I'd be pretty happy. We had kind of a rough start to that year. That first points night out, I ripped the pole bar out of my car in the heat
Right.
race. So I didn't even get to race the first night out. So
Oh,
I
okay.
was already
Oh,
behind in points, and then kind of had to dig myself out of a hole. But yeah, I want to win one of those races. That was my goal this year, and gotten second a few times. But yeah, I feel good going to Fountain City because that's a track I feel like I have quite a few laps at and won a few races. So it'd be nice to get one of those
yeah.
Northern
Sure.
Lights wins there.
maybe you can get one at the end of the year. We our point leader, Bobby Williams, he's our point leader at Heartland right now, and he's leading over Brandon Givens by not very many points. It was 6 going into the weekend, so they're having a pretty good battle. But he hasn't won one yet either this year. He's leading the points, but
Mhm.
um, I think for you, do you think that your series, that series up there, I know it's for the weekly racers, and obviously you have a couple of, I call them heavy hitters in there. You're going to have that no matter what, like Brandon Davis and the 21 car.
Mhm.
You think with them two being there, is that raise the bar for the other guys? Do you think that runs guys off from that series because they got Brandon Davis there and think, well, hey, we're not going to outrun that guy? I mean, does race? I know racers think that
Mhm.
sometimes, and we don't have any. Our ours is gets like we had Tanner Mullins come to ours, and everyone he come to, he won, he won, he
Mhm.
won, he won, and then that's all you heard in the pits, like, oh my gosh, when's the USMTS going to race again? I
Yeah.
mean, do you ever think that that other for car count? Do you think that makes any kind of difference up there, or with him being there?
Um,
Or no,
it might a little bit. I mean, personally, how I look at it, Mike, is anytime you can race against those cars that
sure,
if those guys are racing more nights and they got good equipment and they're just standout drivers, you feel
sure,
better when you get a top five, or if you can keep one of those guys behind you, it just makes you feel that much better. And to me,
mm-hmm.
it makes you a better race car driver. So, to just my opinion, if anyone's purposely staying home because they know there's going to be a certain driver at this race and they're not going to show up because it might
Right,
make them a
mm-hmm.
sixth place car instead of a fifth place car, or a 10th
Sure,
car versus an eighth place car that night. Um, I don't know, you might as well not show up because to me,
yep,
when you
don't
can
do
race
that.
against the cream of the crop
Mm-hmm.
on any given night,
Sure,
whether that's a weekly show at Deer Creek, a weekly show at MTS, or if you drive down to Lucas Oil, it just makes you a better race car driver. And then
yeah,
if you are lucky enough to put yourself in a position to win one of those races and keep those guys behind you, the wins
mm-hmm.
feel that much better. Like I kept
Sure.
putting Brandon behind me. Another corner, he'd have got me, but we raced side by side for like the last 3 laps. And I thought like Kelly was gonna slide me the last corner, and he didn't. He just stuck on the bottom and I stuck on the top, and we drag raced to the finish line, and I beat him by like 0.043 seconds, and talked to him later that night and I was like, "Man, I thought you were gonna slide me." And he's like, he's like nowadays, he's like, everyone's deal is just slide and take the line away. He's like, what happened to good old fashioned racing where we'll just race it out? And I had to laugh because I was like, well, I feel like I'm the guy. Like, if I can snag your line and win the race, I'm gonna
Sure.
do it. But Brandon kind of has a different, like, I'm sure he would slide a guy to win a big race by all means, but the way he said that was just like, let's just race it out. And I happened to be just 0.043 seconds faster coming off the corner, but the next lap he probably would have got me. So I
Yeah,
like
he's got it in
guys
him.
like that.
I've seen him at Deer Creek go in turn 3 and 4, go plumb over the wall, almost trying to win one of those Jamborees.
Yeah, it's
That was
coming up
fast.
on that anniversary here pretty quick where that video surfaces, and
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
that was great.
I'm
That
kind of
was
glad I don't want to say I'm glad I've never been in that position to win a race in the last corner because I'd love to be in that position more, but I don't know what I would do there, Mike. I'd
I
probably
know what
throw
you're going to slide, son. You're sliding, good or bad. You're going for it. I don't. I got full confidence.
get
You're
out of
not.
my way. I'm coming up whether your
That's
nose
what
is
I'm
there or not.
thinking.
but
Sorry, right rear quarter panel coming in hot.
I got a right rear and a left rear to fix before I
That's
race
right.
next right now.
That's
Right.
right.
But,
So
all right,
Well, that's
Mike, we've taken enough of your time.
perfect. I'm glad you guys called. And
Thanks for joining
thanks
us.
for
It
hopping
was
on. It was good to talk with you.
absolutely, 100%. So we'll try. You're not coming down here for the nationals. That's the last race we really got around here. So,
well,
um,
not as of now, but if you know
I
my
would love
dad
to.
and you know us, we're kind of
Yeah.
spur of the moment. So that could
yeah.
be
Who knows?
a
You might
Wednesday
see
night. We're
Jack.
racing on Thursday. Who knows?
I
I
got a
got you.
conflict with work where I'll be gone traveling, so I won't be able to make it. But as much as I'd like to, yeah, that work, you gotta work and you gotta have family time, and that's just
That's
one of
why
those
I
days
haven't
where
had
work
a
is,
That's
yeah.
why I haven't raced as much as I usually do, just because of that fact work. So,
Awesome.
So
Well, alrighty, like I said, this is episode 27. Mike Striegel, Mama D, two of the coolest people at any racetrack you go to. We appreciate you for what you're trying to do for the sport of racing, Mike, and what you're doing for them kids. It's a good deal. Hopefully we'll see you up here. Maybe we'll catch you at the Jamboree or something.
Man, that'd be awesome. I appreciate you guys letting me blow a little smoke and listen for a little bit. It's been great and miss you guys up there.
Yeah,
You
you
too,
as
man.
well.
Good to see
So.
you. Take care.
See you guys.
See you, Mike.
Bye.